Hey there, welcome to my review on the Surefire Titan. Very small, everyday carry, keychain, torch, flashlight. Cool, so just some basic specs I guess, just a little rundown of the torch to begin with. So it's a pocket sized or like keychain sized light. I think it's the first of its kind to be made by Surefire. They're usually the bigger tactical lights, at least AA battery lights. It's 27 grams in weight with the battery in it, and it's just over 7 centimeters long. Just for comparison, next to, good thing, everyone knows how big a Swiss Army knife is, so that's it next to a Swiss Army knife. That's it next to a lead lenser P3, which is also which I thought was a rather small light, but this thing really does maximise its real estate. Very, very small there. That's it next to a Fisher Space Pen bullet. And that's next to my little Falcon U4, which I think is a very handsome little pairing. So it takes a single AAA battery through the top here. It arrives with one already in it, which is a Surefire branded rechargeable AAA. I don't have the charger for it, so once that's out, it's going to be on just your standard alkalines. There's a video elsewhere on this. There's a few videos around on this, not a huge amount though. The lithium batteries are a bit of a tight fit for this tube. As I said, very much a. I don't think you could make a AAA torch much smaller than this with the throw and the lumens you get. So it's twist activated. That's the user interface. So once for low, twice for high. That's it. That's what you get. It doesn't have any second opening points, so the tail cap doesn't open. This seems to be just like a milled out bit of solid aluminium, unless they've folded it and rolled it and welded it or something. But yeah, it does feel very sturdy, and because there's no like tail cap that removes, it's all just extra space. So very, very cool and sleek. So the output from the LED bulb, it's yeah, as I think I said, 15 lumens on the low setting. Sort of a good little round the house mode, middle of the night, and then the high setting is from 2 twists. So you got 1 for 15, then 2 for 125. You get the 15 for 8.5 hours. You get the 125 for 1 hour. This is the package that it came in. Did get torn to crap by my kids. I had opened it really nicely, but then look away for 5 minutes and it comes back. So I'm not sure if you want to pause that on there. That's just got the other specs there. It's the Titan A. There is a Titan B model as well, which has a tail cap and a pocket clip. Still just a twisty, but it's got 3 modes as well, so slightly stronger. It goes up to 300 lumens, which is pretty bright for a little single AAA. But I settled on this one because I don't really want to pay much more than I already paid, which was considerable. The manual is in the package as well. I'll just hold that up, and if you're really keen on all the bits and bobs about it, you probably pause your video. That's the A and that's the B there, or the Titan Plus. That's all the things that each one does. There's just some literature about it all. It's pretty basic stuff. So I guess I'll get into the review. I'll just talk a bit about Surefire. So Surefire is something of a premium brand in the production torch market. The premium status is formed by sort of a few factors. First and most obvious, but potentially the most meaningless, is their lights are all about twice the price, which does kind of add a bit of a prestige. Or it's the expensive one, it must be the best. Their prices are often in the territory of like the lower end custom lights that people like Prometheus make. So you would hope you're getting something for your extra money. This torch cost me about $100 in Australia. I did get an eBay discount, as eBay sometimes does. You just get random free money, which is cool. So I think I ended up paying about $70 for shipping included. The US price, the retail is $59, $60. Not sure if there's a counterfeit market, but I did get a fake lead lenser once from an eBay vendor. So I went through an online store and got this one that was a Surefire accredited store from the US. So it did take a few weeks to get here. The second sort of thing about Surefire is they have US production and a lifetime warranty. The US production isn't as important to me because, as we're seeing, lots of those Chinese lights are very high quality as well from the other companies. The lifetime warranty, however, that is worth the extra dollars, I think, when you're going to treat the torch as I'm going to treat it. And I'll get into that later, whether or not this torch is for you, because this torch really isn't for everyone. Lastly is the prestige the brand sort of claims itself. Like most companies that make any practical product strive for like military, law enforcement endorsement. This is a law enforcement light. Lots of police departments use Surefire. Well, not this light specifically, but lots of police departments use Surefire branded weapon lights. And I'm not sure about militaries. I'm cautious to embrace that line of thought with too much vigour, as I've been a part of, or I am a part of these types of organisations that order things, and we see some horrible gear get brought en masse. It's tested, it's functional, but there's always so many. There's so many better options. So there's all sorts of reasons that products get bought by big military and police agencies, not just quality. What I do put in a lot of stock in regards to prestige of Surefire is the word of other customers. So Surefire do get a pretty good rap on both the forums, the brief time I spend on the forums, and also on other YouTube videos. People who I know and respect the opinions of very much go into bat for Surefire. So the Titan A, now we're not talking about the company, we're talking about the actual torch. This specific light is the first of two of them in the 2015 range, the others being that Titan B I was talking about. First and most important thing to me in a torch is the user interface. I like less modes, but I want the essential modes. I don't want strobe, I don't want the wake up when you move it mode, I don't want SOS or beacon. I just want low and high, maybe moonlight, moonlight medium and high maybe. But I don't want to have to click past a bunch of stupid useless modes to get to the one that I want. And the one that I want, happily, is usually just the low. To move about my house and move around, perhaps my garden, although I probably use my high for like walking from my house to my shed. So I want my low for moving around the house, and I want my high for when I'm walking to work. You just want to poke it in a bit of shadow when there's no street light, see if there's a, you might have heard a possum or something like that. Just that sort of thing. The comfort that having a torch gives, you use the high beam for. So it works for me. The interface being twisty, I'm in two minds. I do prefer a switch. LED lenser's got a switch, but then this LED lenser has been turned on in my pocket a few times, because you bump the switch sometimes when you move past it to get other things. So it's a clip light with a switch. So for a torch this small, I think twisty was really the only way to go. Because, especially when it's playing around in my keys, sort of a spongy button on the end is more likely to sustain damage than the whole unit has to be really mangled up for the twisty to stop working, because it really is just on the screw threads. The 4.7's Preon was my usual torch, but I lost that because the clip, which was horrible, and everyone knows that Preon clip is horrible, finally failed me at the movies the other month, and I think I left it on my seat and then drove about 300 k's from where my cinema is to my house, and then here I was with no torch. So I was very upset at that, because that is still probably I like it more than this still. But you end up paying about the same price, and I wanted to try something else, so here we are. The construction of the torch is super high quality. The threads of the twist are very smooth. There's no grime to them or anything like that. There is an occasional sort of little snafu when you're trying to switch between the modes. I think it just comes on very early before it's gone in as far as you need it. See right there, that's in the weird sort of no man's land, so it's almost like a medium mode there, but it's not. So, but that's just the, obviously the circuit touching the battery, and there's not much you can do about that. So you just, nice vigorous twist, off, on, off, on. I've got no doubt that this is going to last a long, long time, and that warranty really sort of reinforces that as well. So perfect for key carry. I carried on my keys. Where's my keys? Here we go. I carried on my keys, which is on like an aircraft cable, and you can see when you put it with your keys how it's really just about the same. It takes up the same bulk as a lot of the other things. Really, like the sliver grippers. Yeah, they're thinner, but it's mainly. I mean, we've all got these giant, stupid car keys on us, and until I get a car that has like just a card that you keep in your wallet or something, you're always going to be cursed with these big clunky car keys, so adding a thing to sit next to it like that doesn't really bother me too much. So yeah, perfect size for key carry. They've really, really trimmed the weight as much as you possibly could on this torch. Do I feel it's worth the money I paid for it? Well, I do, but I can completely understand if you don't. Depends on how you view torches. Like, quite rightly, as I said before, there are lots of these great Chinese brands making lots of EDC pen lights and torches, and so there's a huge variety out there. So lots of people like to have 4 or 5 or 6 torches and just choose a different one each day. They take a different pocket knife out each day, and then they go to a torch store and take a different little torch out each day. I've generally been a 1 torch guy. This goes in a separate system. This is never my EDC or everyday carry torch. My everyday carry torch was my pre-on P1, which is gone. So this is my new everyday carry torch for carrying every day. If that is how you approach your torches, then I, without hesitation, would say that this is probably the best, or one of the best to get for a keyring mounted torch. I can't comment on the Titan B, because I haven't used it, but that might be an option if you're after a pocket clip torch. But I think for the money, if you're just going to use it and never stop, and you're not someone who's going to cycle through lots of torches, then you will get your money out of it. If, however, you're someone who already has 5 or 6 torches, you probably won't be completely blown away by this one. It won't have anything on it that your other ones don't do. It'll probably seem a bit bland compared to it, but what I feel I've brought here is a time. Like, I've got like a long serving torch here that's going to last me hopefully years, and I won't have to change it, because I don't get much joy from buying torches. I like using one, I love carrying one, and I would almost take a torch over a knife if I had to choose one thing. In terms of using it, I'm using my torch probably 10 times as much as I use my knife every day. But I don't get any joy from having so many torch options to choose from. So it is right for me. If that's how you approach torches, I would say spend the extra. It's going to be an extra $40 or $50, but then never spend it again, or only spend it again if you lose it, which, you know, is your fault. But however, as I said, if you're not keen on just having your 1 torch, and you've already got a whole array of great other torches that you just everyday carry and rotate, then $100 on a little torch, you're not going to feel like you've got your money's worth. So that is about all I have to say about that. I'll just hold it up for some little macroage. Get right up close there. I'll just take it outside and do a couple of beam shots next. So that's the frame there. It's quite handsome little milling there. I love the milling on the head, or the flattening on the head there. See him catch the light there, it's very cool. Just a reflector piece in there, nice and deep. The bulb is probably about back here, so you do get a fair bit of throw. I think the box is, 43 meters, so not too bad. Again, getting lots and lots out of that 1A in terms of real estate, durability and quality. That 1 AAA battery. And the ring on the end is definitely integral to the frame, so, well, not the ring itself, but the ring loop, very much integral to the frame, so very, very happy with it. But as I said, might not be for you. Just take heed of what I said before you drop the cash, is my advice. Thanks very much for watching, and just stand by for some beam shots. Cheers! Alrighty, beam shots. So, this will be the low mode, with the torch next to the camera there, just pointing at the wall of my shed. So that's low mode there. Get out the little LED lenser and just show you what the LED lenser is. LED lenser only has 1 mode, and it does have a slider though, so that's the LED lenser with the slider extended, and that's it when you fluff it up. So the LED lenser sits at about 45 lumens, so see through night there, LED lenser there, so very much in the middle. And then we'll wind it off to the high there. So it's the high 125 lumens, and then that's the LED lenser bumping in there, so it does get swallowed up by it in the end. And, never was a fan of that spotlight sort of mode on such a small torch. Just seemed a bit silly. Feels like you're waiting for a puppet show to start. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Rapey the Elf, that sort of thing. Not that Rapey the Elf isn't a hilarious puppet show, but alrighty, so that's the beam shots there, and that's what you get. Well, low and high. Thanks for watching, guys.